So welcome to my first webinar on the tarot. And the first thing I will address is how I pronounce tarot. You will hear people say tarot or tarot. It doesn't matter how you say it, both are correct. It seems that more people now, tarot is becoming the pronunciation you're going to hear most often. It's just old pattern. That's how I learned it as tarot. So we'll just start with that. I already have my cards going. So a little bit, I'll explain just a little bit in my work. There are probably many of you who've worked with me. And so, especially working in person, something from the very beginning of my practice is I would integrate the tarot into my astrological practice. And so what you would get, and this really had to do more with me, sort of forging my metal, we could say, where I didn't know if what I was doing was completely accurate. And so I would do a tarot spread after I would look at a person's chart just to clear it up and fill in any gaps. And the thing that I found was it doesn't matter what we do, and also the numerology cycles, whether it's your numerology chart with your name, your birth date, or the cycle you were in. And cosmic language is cosmic language because it doesn't matter which system you use. The answers are generally, we're going to get similar answers. The thing that differentiates the tarot from astrology, though, I'll say, is that, every time you throw a wheel, or that's what I do. My spread, I always throw wheels, an astrological wheel, which you will learn with me when we do the spreads, because when we do an astrological wheel, you cover every single area of life, even if you don't read every card, but you will be able to find your answer somewhere in there. But whether that or a Celtic cross or whatever other spread you use, every time you throw the cards, you're going to get a different message. You're going to get a different reading. So tarot is more responsive. It responds to time, the moment. It's because it constantly changes. It's very mercurial. Where with astrology, we're looking at planets that are arranged in a way that have a predictability to them. They're following the laws of creation, and it's sort of like the stones are cast or the cards are cast, so we know what we're doing, we know where we're going. And the nice thing about using the tarot and integrating tarot, and really tarot is obviously a standalone system that you can use, that you can get answers and you can see to the moment how you're shifting, how you're responding. And so just like any oracle deck, and really, I don't know, many of you may already know this, but the difference, an oracle deck is not the same as a tarot deck. A tarot deck is it's an organized structure system. We have 78 cards. And we have a structure that they're set up to do different functions. And there are many different styles of tarot deck, expressions of the tarot. I'm just like, I pulled this deck out. I haven't used it for a while. I love it. I pulled out Nine of Cups. What a good one to just randomly pull up. And that's the thing. It's reading the moment. It's reading the joy I'm having being here, doing this with you. But this particular deck, Liz Green, who's a modern astrologer, a really a really good modern astrologer, famous modern astrologer that really came up in the like the 70s and 80s and 90s. Very her work is very prolific. And I just, so we have a bit of the my other favorite card. I swear I don't have this deck stacked. Here's the sun, which right now I'll say it's like one of those cards that when the sun is shining, everything's okay. So you could just commit that to memory right now, that if you ever pull the sun card, everything's going to be okay. Because wherever the sun shines, everything's bright, everything has life. So I love it. We're off to a good start here. But I have like this one. This is a fun deck. It's going to be shiny. So you can play around and find different decks. So this one I got, two. Let's see if this one's as positively responsive to us. Oh, okay. Well, we do have Queen of Pentacles and we have Judgment. So I like Judgment. Judgment is just simply, this is getting me back on track. It's saying get back to the base of what you're talking about. What Judgment does is, in my view, I'm just giving you little translations here. It's that it's not about being severely judged, for some error, but rather I look at it as an integration of aspects of ourself that we need to bring back into the whole, to bring back. So yes, with the tarot, we have many different decks that we can choose from. When we're learning, when I teach the course, I'll probably have you get just the classic Rider-Waite-Smith. That's what this one is. But you will find there are different kinds of imagery that feels good and doesn't feel good. And so that's the other distinction between tarot and astrology is, again, with astrology, it's such a I don't know how to say it. It's a predictable tool. It's predictability. With the tarot, there's even more, it's more liberal in how we translate, because it really is responsive to you. And this is what I love about tarot, because you can gather what you need to know from the tarot, just like you can gather it from astrology, but you're utilizing more of yourself, your inner being. And you don't have to, again, there will be a structure, but kind of how I like to teach the first layer when teaching tarot is teaching you how to use your own symbology. So that's the thing, the differentiation where, again, astrology is cast. With the tarot, there's a lot of imagery. It is a system of imagery. So even if you don't know I don't have any textbooks here. The textbook, okay, Ace of Swords means this. You can get some ideas, but I like to have you have a deeper understanding of more the energies involved, and then you making your own translation. So with that, we have a couple choices, right? We have the actual imagery to draw on. And so especially for highly creative people, highly intuitive people, or you want to, develop that intuitive tool, the tarot is a lot easier to go into because we're dealing with the color pink might step out, or, you see a lion, or you see some sort of symbol that means something to you, and it might mean something different than what the book says, but that is the translation, because really that is a system. So the tarot and oracle decks, which are not organized 78 cards. It's just a symbol of, there are many ways you could write an oracle. I could gather my crystals here, put 10, 20 crystals in a bag and call it a crystal oracle. And just, it's that each thing has a different meaning, and what you're doing is you're giving your inner self, your inner guidance, you're giving your angels, you're giving your higher, team an opportunity to interface with you, to communicate with you. And hopefully what we get to is that, we're able to find our own answers, but this is step one. And you can do this for other people too. And that's like when I go to read for a person, I am asking to be connected to their set of symbols, to their higher self, so that what's coming through, I might not be reading the exact same way for each person, because it's going to mean something different for everybody. And so there's a little bit of, how do I say that? Uniqueness, it's uniquely different. And that's the beauty of the spreads sometimes, because sometimes you'll see this if you start working with the system, that every time, you go to pull a card, you might pull the same card over and over and over. And so that is a time that I would say, okay, gather some information and see what that is. Now, that's first level. So you could just get a deck of cards and just try to pull in on what it is that you're trying to gather information, and you can just take it from a visual level. The next level that is a little more, what's the word? Not as structured, but more structure, the mid-range, is learning a little bit the way that I teach astrology, in that we're taking the minor arcana, and I should explain that too. The tarot is split up basically into two, or we could even say three parts. We have what's called the major arcana. And the major arcana are like the big cards. They are the archetypes. They're the archetypes that we go through to evolve. And hopefully, we are able to integrate each and every one of those archetypes within our being, because it shows our journey. And it starts at 0 and it goes to 21. So those are numbered cards, and those are more like the big expansive themes. And again, the archetypes, the again, more of like, if we're in a story, it's the big story. It's like, what is the bigger thing going on? And then when we go into the minor arcana, the rest of the cards, the 52 cards, where this is where, if you've ever seen a tarot deck or played with it, you've seen we have the wands, we have the cups, the swords, and the pentacles. And something that you'll notice, those 4 suits, it's literally like you're playing cards deck. The playing cards, that's what the minor arcana is literally like a deck of like going to Las Vegas and playing blackjack. It's that deck of cards. And what those do, what we break it down into are elements. Each one represents an element. So they have a way that they behave. And within each of those elements, we have like the royal families. We have all the 4 different families. We have the fire family. That's our wands. We have our cups family, or our love family, which are the cups. We have the swords, the mental realm, the air, water. Sorry, I don't think I said that. The cups are water. The swords are air, so we're dealing with mental, and then the pentacles are earth. So we have a family for each of those. And just understanding 4 different things, we break down, and this is what we'll be doing in the first class, is really breaking down, understanding the elements. And so we can already make a statement when we see or have a feeling when we pull one of those cards that's of the minor arcana. And so if it's a wand, we know something's fiery and quick. If it's a cup, we know this is a love issue. Something is having to do with love. The swords are like, kind of, we'll go into that when we're dealing with the major arcana, the three biggies, the death, devil, and the tower, which I'm going to give a good, we're gonna take the fear away from those. But the same with the swords, where all that swords are, it's mental energy. Sword is air. And really, truly, most of our struggles, so we can see some of our struggles, but most struggles are part of us in our own head beating ourself up, or we're trying to solve a problem, we're trying to figure something out. But there are some of my favorite cards in the deck are some sword cards, which are like relief medicine. So we have the swords, and then pentacles. We know if we're looking at pentacles, we're looking at money issues. We're looking at things of a stability, finance, structure. And, for those of you who've taken the astrology, Earth moves slowly. So we even have like a way of how things behave and how things move. And really what the minor arcana cards give us are the sort of like the happenings. It's where we have the major arcana are sort of the big themes, but the minors are giving us like the day-to-day and the like the scenery, like what's going on, what are we moving through. It's more transient, we could say, where the majors are bigger. And by the way, are not just used. The major arcana is this really beautiful system where we don't have to use it as a predictive tool. It really is a very potent, powerful tool to use just to like meditate on each concept. And I wasn't really thinking I would go this deep into it, but I will just say this part too, that the way that the cards are broken down, we have that Fool card, which is 0, and it is, I wish I could just randomly pull Fool. No, it didn't happen. Sometimes I can call them in. Nope. Okay. So the Fool card is, for somebody who's seen it, again, it has a 0. It's got, the happy-go-lucky person with, the knapsack over his shoulder, looking up, about to go off a cliff. Like if he's looking up, but it's really this 0 state. I look at it as a void energy of anything is possible. I also look at it as a starting point of becoming clean. Sometimes I see it in a spread where it's like a person's been through a lot, evolved a lot, and they're back to that 0 point where they're clean. They're not bitter. They can now start a new journey. And so we have that. And then we have the cards that the first 7, they're kind of broken down into 3 parts. 1 through 7 are archetypes of the mind. Cards, what am I saying? No, 15 is the last one. 1 through 7, the mind. 8 through 14 are the bodily cards. So it's sort of like body, mind, spirit, but we start with mind, body, and then the last cards 15 through 21 are spirit. So we see this evolution that we're going through. And then, when we do the course, I'll show how each one kind of links to another, that we have these that work in triplicate of evolution. Or if you just want to bring that in, you can pull those cards up and work on different lines of evolution or things you're trying to integrate into yourself. They really are these super powerful, potent, pieces to work with. And again, these beautiful gifts for our inner self, our higher self, for cosmic energy, our teachers, our angels, to have this other interface to be able to work through us, with us, to help evolve ourselves. And so yeah, that's that part. And the court cards, I haven't mentioned that. The court cards are more of the like the actual people. Like when we pull a court card, it may be specific to a person. And within those 4 tribes, you know, within our 4 elements, we have different types of people that behave in different ways, connected to their element. But they also have, like, we can sometimes even get coloring in like a disposition of the people is some in some of the old you know, some of the old translations, we look at it that way. And so we have these places where everything can be covered in using the tarot, which I love because astrology is the same way, right? We have everything in there. Now, the second thing, and again, we'll go through this in the first class and really break it down. We're basically learning, well, I'll say 14 different things, which does sound very overwhelming when I say it out loud. It's like, we have 14 things to learn, but 14 things that help us understand the expanse of it all. So the 4 things, like I said, are our elements, are fire, water, air, and earth. We're learning those energies, which is not hard to learn. You already know water is wet. Earth is solid, usually, you know, like I said, with the swords, the cutting, but if we know it's mental, it's like sharp intellect, sharp mind. We know how fire behaves. Fire is very strong and in our face and active, you know, so you don't have to go far to memorize those things. And then the other 10 things are the numbers 1 through 10. So we're learning some numerology, really. And when we know where on the number field, or the number line, we can all count, I hope, that most of us can get from 1 to 10. And so already you can start to make statements. And again, it opens it up, I feel, before learning really specific interpretations for, just trying to pick a random, you know, 6 of Cups, you know, a random, you know, 6 of Cups translation. If we know about the number 6 and we know we're dealing with love, it might be easier to sort of make a statement. And then we get the visual from the cup if we need, from the card, if we need that extra. But what we're learning are the 10 numbers, and it works literally. 1 is 1. We're at the beginning. Ace. The aces are the first. It's the first. It's that potentiality, and it's the beginning of something. And believe me, it's like, even if it's the beginning, it's one of the most wonderful cards to see in a spread, because we know there's fresh energy coming in. There's even with Ace of Swords, I love Ace of Swords because it's a fresh new idea being handed. It's not a negative, but it might still be in the idea realm, but we know, ooh, or we can carve our path. Sometimes we need a knife, we need a blade to be able to cut through things that, you know, if we get overwhelmed easily. So it would be a fresh new idea. Ace of Wands, it's a, you know, that's like the entrepreneurial person that doesn't let anything stop them. And we know, ooh, this has that fire of spirit in it that we're going to get to utilize, you know. And as we go through the numbers, as the numbers evolve, so does the topic. So 1 is the beginning, 5 is like the middle, you know, it's, and always all 4 5s have a bit of, you know, when I say crisis, more of what I mean, like it's reaching like a little bit of critical mass. It's more of that, like there's a little bit of agitation. It's kind of like full moon, right? You know, halfway through the moon, halfway through its cycle, we get that before it breaks through. And the 6s feel really good, but it's not a negative card. It's just, we're about to change. Everything's about to shift. That's halfway. whatever it is has matured up to that midpoint. And then from that 5 all the way to 10, without me telling you, you already know what 10 is. It's a completion, it's a fulfillment of whatever a topic is. It's complete and ready because we have 1 and 0, right? So we've not only completed it, but we're ready to start something new. We get to do a new energy, a new cycle. So we're going to go through those 10 cards and just learn 1 through 10. And so I will be teaching the classic, some of the classic translations for these cards. I'm also going to give you some of what has worked for me, because again, you know, my son did the math at one point. This was, I don't know, you know, he went to school for math, and he calculated like how many hours a week I work and how many years. And he's figured I've done like 45 to 50,000 readings, which is kind of crazy. But so within all that, there are certain cards that have revealed, at least through my languaging system or my the way that I translate and my symbology, very consistent things that might be a little bit different from how they're classically translated. But I will give you both because I want you to have access. And again, more than anything, I want you to be able to sort of invite your intuition and invite your inner self, your higher self in, and learn how to trust yourself. And that's going to be part of this too, of how to connect in and be able to work with these energies. And I have to say too, one of the best ways to learn tarot, 2 things, is don't just read for yourself, read for other people. And you can start very basic and simple. You don't just have to jump to the horoscope spread, which is the 12 houses and 1 in the middle, but you can start simply, and it just starts exercising you. So you can read for yourself, you can read for others, but and you'll get instant feedback. I think that that's the best way. And then you can get readings, you know, you can also, you know, get readings from other people. I do want to just say I don't even know if she's in here. I don't know if she signed up for this, but her name's Vanessa, and she works at Four Moons, and she is really good at tarot. Like, she's a good person. Go get it. And you know, you can find tarot readers, but just that she keeps coming in my mind. So I feel like I have to just throw that out there. And then, you know, it's just, again, that practice, you know, working and practicing. Shucks, I wish. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are able to go into the chat if you have any questions. I can also, does anybody have any questions? I was going to do like a little nope, I was going to see if it was coming up in my other part. No. Okay. I thought it would be fun to show you just like a couple quick things that I use that you can use really any deck, any oracle or tarot. But I love using, you know, again, the tarot, that you don't even have to know anything. And let's say you have a there we go. There's a question and answer spot. I just saw that pop up. Oh, Renee, the chat is disabled. Thank you. But here's a place you can ask questions. So if anybody wants to ask a question, you're welcome to in the Q&A section. Thank you, Renee. And so if you have a yes or no, ooh, I love it. This is another thing in shuffling the cards. I love it. Knight of Pentacles. Earth. So we have, that's the other thing when we're looking at the people, the way the court cards are developed is with 4 people. We have the king, we have the Queen. So those would be the mature aspect of male energy, mature aspect of feminine energy. And it can be direct, but it doesn't have to be, you know. We can be talking about a male and it still comes up as a Queen card, and vice versa. Like it, but in general, we're looking at least those the qualities involved in polarities. And then the Knight and the Page are the in development. Like Page is usually super youth, and Knight is more of that, a little bit of coming of age, still has maturing to do, but is active. In other decks, it will be the Prince and Princess. And so again, you have youth of a more feminine archetype, and the other one a more male archetype. So oh good, we have some questions coming in, so I'm gonna see this. Oh, hi Laura. Oh my gosh, what questions to ask. I love it. Just if you have questions about tarot. I'm so happy to see Laura is literally like a sister. She's one of the sisters in my family. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if the camera is gonna let's see if it does this. Wow, this is so fun. Now I love the wood with this this background shot they did for us. Okay, so I'm just going to show you that you can do this however you like. There are many different ways to shuffle your cards, and like that for me, I do it this way. There we go. Lovers, that's another good one, isn't it? This is a major arcana card. And Lovers can literally be what it says, lovers, but it's usually like the union of two things coming together. It can be two parts of your inner self. It can be your anima, your animus. It's or you know, a business joining together, but we know we have like a joining. But that is a lot of how I will pick cards, is just giving them an opportunity to be loose like that. Look at that. Knight of Swords. And here, I'll pick a third one. The Fool. Okay, there it is. I wanted to give you Fool. Okay, I need to see how this works. So this is that 0 point I wanted to show you. So it's the beginning of the journey. He's looking up. He has rosy cheeks. He has not been beaten down by life yet. He still has a bit of innocence, and because he's hasn't experienced a lot, he may be walking off the cliff, but that's okay. This is part of the journey before he goes into all the cards. But so that's kind of how, one way that I pick cards, that you can do that too. Another way, you know, you can just do classic, you know, these cards are a little bit big. I have my favorite deck, I will tell you, is the Zerner Farberd deck. That's what I use because it is so sweet in its imagery. You know, so you could shuffle in that way and then do 3 piles. This is old school. And then there, bibbity bobbity boo. And then you would pull your cards from here. So let's say, I'm going to put this back in. Let's say you're asking yourself a yes or no question. You don't even have to know the meanings of the cards. We would simply, I like to use 5 cards, but you can use 3 cards as well. But I like, you want an odd number, and 3 right side up would be a yes, and 3 reversed would be a no. So if I'm looking for a yes or no answer, I'm going to pick 1, 2, 3, 4. Get this guy out of the way. 5. So this is like, we can already see the answer, even though. So if we're reading it this way, well, even though these look right side up to me, for the sake of making this easier, we're going to call these reversed, and we only have one right side up. So the answer would be no. That's it. We could say no. Okay, don't do it. I'm not going to do it. Is this person thinking this horrible thing about me? No. You know, is this all in my head? No. Well, maybe so. You might ask that again. But if you did want to go in deeper, you would be able to go in and gather a bit of information from these cards. If you want to go in a bit deeper. A lot of what I do when people are asking about, like, I have 3 job offers, or there's 3 people that I need to choose from to hire, you know, coming in. So I'll do this for each one, and we'll get a yes or no about them, but we also can tell, like, developed how their character develops in here. Okay, so that's one. Another one is, you know, a spread that I will do regularly is the 3 card, which is past, present, future. So it tells you where you were coming from, where you are right now, and at this moment, where you're going. So that would be the past. This is the present. This is where you're going. And for this person, hopefully this is, well, it is maybe a little me. It's like, this is not me. I'm coming out of, like, I did a lot of vacation. This is journey. About to go on a journey and move into a state of overwhelm, because I'm about to do a lot of teaching. But I love this. I love having lots and lots. So it would be, you know, this is where I'm coming from, a state of peace. 6 of Swords always has a bit of a journey, but I need to do this, you know, there's a lot of journey within the mind, we could say this. And this is where I am right now. In fact, literally, we're sitting here communicating. That's we're sharing. 6 is a sharing energy. We're sharing information. That's Swords. So it could be very, very literal. And the beauty of this is that even though that's like a lot of overwhelm, having too many irons in the fire, looking at this, I know, oh, if I keep it my current state, this is going to happen to me. So what if I did something different? I could change that. Let's see. 2 of Cups. I love that. So I might pick another one. If I shift, what's going to happen? This is literally moving from overwhelm to balance. That's what 2 of Cups is this working harmoniously and being in balance. So I wanted to show you that. The other thing I do want to mention about reversals, which, let me move my camera. I think it's this one. Yep, there it is. Hi. The issue of reversals. So I'm going to tell you right now how I work with reversals. So reversals, just meaning, is a card. I love this card. It's just the one that pulled out too. I do look at things more positively. I love that I'm picking positive cards here. But so a card, I look at the positive cards, which we'll go through, which, you know, because not all energies are created equal. And here's the other thing, to not be afraid. Like, we have, you know, life has struggle, life has stress. And so this can target it, but then we have something we can do about it. And so when I have a positive card, I'll just say that, which again, we'll go through which those ones are. When it is in reverse, this would be, so like 10 of Pentacles is, I always call it the most money in the deck. 10 of Hearts or 10 of Cups, most love in the deck. 10 of Pentacles, most money or security in the deck. If this were reverse, the person might not be in this state yet, but it's coming. So positive cards reversed, this is how I read them. is, it's not here yet, but it will be. It's coming. Keep going the way you're going. We do have this coming in. It's more in like that field. It's not, it hasn't quite materialized where you can palpate it, where it's right in front of you in your hand. So that's how I read the positive cards when they're in reverse. And there will be a moment when it becomes right side up. Okay, let's see if I can pick a scary looking card. Oh my God, did I ever pick like the scariest? Devil. So here's a devil card. That's spooky. By the way, I will just say this now. All that the devil is, and this is my interpretation, it's the material world. It's we as vibrant, not never ending souls, eternal beings, being put into a human body, being put into a limitation, into a vehicle that's going to die someday. And what the devil shows us, I look at it as Saturn. This is like a Saturn card. And so it keeps us in balance to know either we need to maybe pay more attention to some material situation, meaning take care of your finances, or, you know, if you want to accomplish these things over here creatively, you might have to do the work over there and do the Saturn stuff. The other thing that can come in and really more on an archetypical level, it's the card where we're being shown where we're bound by the material world. We're too focused on material meaning, you know, even if you're looking, you know, it as fame and positioning and knocking people over to get to the top, like that would be an expression of that. So when a negative card is reversed, the way that I read this is it's past. The worst is over. It doesn't mean impending doom that hasn't quite hit you. It's already passed. We've worked through something. You can breathe. The contractions are over. We've had the baby, no more contractions. And we're dealing with the aftermath of something that happened. So it's a good card. If you are in a difficult place to have a negative card reverse, to say, okay, the worst is over. That's how I look at it. Another thing too of reversed cards might be something that we're experiencing more on a subconscious level that we may not be seeing it directly. So that's another for any of the cards when they're reversed. That was crazy, and it matches those other cards that Chato has in the background, which is interesting. Okay, let me see if we have some other questions here before I wrap this up. Laura, Teresa, I would love to know more about the Devil and Death cards. That's great. There, that must be why I pulled that one. That is perfect. See how it works? It's you know, it's one of those things that, like, when we're in this space, we see how we're all connected. So I will just explain too the thing with the death. It is rarely death. In those however many readings I've done, there are only maybe two or maybe three times in all of that it actually signified somebody was dying. It's you just, that is not the front of looking at how you would translate the death card. The death is literally that it's like, think of the dead skin cells. It's exfoliation. So it can be like a dead issue. Oh, we're done. We're coming to the end of something. It can be such a relief card when we're in something really challenging that we have that death. and it doesn't mean, because some people will go into fear as well, like, I'm asking about my marriage and, oh, I want it to work, but what's happening? And then the death card comes up in the center. Oh my gosh, does that mean it's over? It's like, not at all. It just means it's time to sort of rebirth, because that's the thing. We always have like a rebirthing. So it's a gift to be able to let go. So think of it as, like sort of transformation, and hallelujah, we've reached that point where it's shifting. The way I look at the death card, and this might be, just part of my, because I was learning this system at the same time that, again, and you, those of you who know me, sorry, you've already heard me say this a million times, but I went to school to be an acupuncturist. I went to a traditional Chinese medicine school in San Diego. And so when they were talking about like the ends of our fingers, the ends of our toes, the chi, when the chi comes to switch, that's why it's super surface from like the elbow down to the tips of your fingers. And same with the knees down. The chi comes to the surface, but this is where it comes in and turns from, say this is the yin side of our body, like the current is changing from yin. Here's death. Here's the death card before it turns yang and shifts the other direction. So that's all it is. When we know that it's just a shift, it's just a change, or you need a dramatic change, need to clean something out. That is death. But I love that. And I already mentioned, okay, yes. Any recommendations on, where you like to purchase tarot decks? Know any local artists that make them? That's a really good question about local artists. What the first place I want to say to go to for that is probably, I would go to not eBay. Gosh, what's wrong with me? Somebody read my mind right now. Etsy. Etsy will probably have some beautiful artists. I should put, if you saw, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 huge, I'm a deckaholic. I have so many decks from exactly that, like, because different artists are going to have different expressions. Another, if you're local, just go to your local metaphysical bookstore, Soulscape in Encinitas, Mystical Dragon in Carlsbad. There, go and feel them out. As I said, for this course, so I think everybody who in here knows we're starting a tarot course on Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. And if you do want to take that course, I do ask that you get a deck of cards. And I'm suggesting that you get a Rider-Waite Smith, learning the classics. And if you want to get like one that isn't colored, you can color the cards yourself. That's something that I like to do. It sort of like brings that energy to life. You're putting your imprint and your, by the way, this is one of my favorite of the swords. It just brings, it's such a Libra card. It brings inner peace. It's like giving permission to go within, shut the world out, bring in mental balance, come into harmony. This harmonizes situations. So you could get this, or if you feel really attracted to a certain deck, and it just speaks to you, you can do that too if you want to take the course and get a deck. And I will happily work with you if they do, because sometimes the other decks, they'll pick different words for a traditional, like say death, it might say transformation. The tower is another one that is the other big hard one for some people, but it's a Uranus card. Both star, here's the interesting thing, star Card number 17. Card number 16 is Tower, and then 17 is Star. And they're both cards that the planet Uranus has territory over. And one is when we're having to break free into illumination and sort of break the calcified energy. And then the other one is literally like fresh illumination. So again, it can be a good energy when we need to break things up and release things, or it can be a warning of like, get your stuff together or this thing's going to fall apart. But you have an that's the beauty of tarot, that we can see the things that we can shift and change and move into. And I will say too that and doing before, well, here, let me look at this. Gorgon's Tarot. Oh, great. There's a good recommendation. So Sarah Vale just said Gorgon's Tarot, Gorgons. I'm just thinking that I don't know if all of you have access to seeing these questions, so I am reading them out loud. And then Renee, oh, that's a good question. Which deck is in the background wallpaper of the screen we're seeing? I don't know. It looks like a deck in Spanish. I wish I could tell you, but it looks somewhat similar. It looks a little similar to, this is again, the Mythic Tarot. And if you're interested in kind of learning more of the myth, this is a really good deck. And again, an astrologer, and I feel bad, I can't remember the name of the other woman she collaborated with, did this deck. This, I can't remember who this is. This, I won't even show you if I can't tell you. But what we're going to be doing, we're going to be trying this for the first time. And I have a lot of faith it's going to work really well, that we're going to be doing both live and in person concurrently. Because the last astrology class of the last series I taught, the way we set the tables up, I needed people to look at a screen. And so we set it up so everybody could see the TV, so they could see all the imagery. And I realized, oh, well, this is what everybody's seeing. So we're going to do this online where everybody will be looking at the same screen and doing the same thing. And I'm hoping too that having both an online and an in-person group, that the in-person people will help raise the voices of the online people, because, you know, I'm a Libra. I love interaction. I want everyone to feel comfortable to share. So you will be able to be seen, and I'll show you, everybody will get to know each other. But it's a really fun thing. Tarot is a lot easier to learn than astrology because we have instant gratification. And this particular course, this Foundation 1, is really going to be just the primer, the basic. And then when I go into a more advanced course of tarot, we're going to be doing tarot and astrology combined, which is just, it's really juicy to be able to really work with both. And we see where they're similar, we see where they're not. We don't want to conflate the two because they are two different systems, but there are these juicy little places where two topics, two things are better together. Something from the tarot, something from astrology, create like this child that is mind-blowing. And so that will be at we'll do that next year, but this will be a good primer to get you started. Let me see what more. Oh, where am I teaching the live class? In my home in Carlsbad. And so, yes, if you are local, the class will be in here in our home. where we taught the astrology class too, which I love. That's how I learned astrology, was in my astrology teacher's home. It just feels like we're all, warmly gathered. Noelle is Googling. I think she's Googling to see which one. Oh, Noelle figured it out. I love it. Go here. What I'm going to do, can I type the answer in? And answer live. You would like to, okay, well, it just gave me a thing, type answer. And I don't know if something came up for everybody to see it, but what it is, uh-oh, I lost it. I don't know what happened. If you can send me the name of the deck again. Noelle, can you pop it in here again? Oh, it did go live. Okay, good. All right, perfect. Everybody can see that. And is the link to join the tarot classes this weekend available already? Yes, Christina, it is available. If you got this webinar link, then you'll probably get an email that will have this. I believe my husband put a link in my bio on Instagram too, which is Moon Gathering. And the other thing, just go to moongathering.com. It will be in there for sure. And you have 2 or 3 books that are your favorite? Oh, on tarot. I just working. Okay, I will tell you. Ted Andrews. So I'm going a little obscure, but Ted Andrews is the animal guy. And I love, that's one of the tarot decks that, in fact, let me just grab this. Hold on, because I'm looking right at it. And here, just to show you, like this, I have bunches of these full of decks. But this is my one of the Ted Andrews decks. It's out of print, but he does everything with animals. This is a great tarot deck if you're just looking for different symbology. The animals, we don't expect animals to behave differently than they are. And so it kind of can take the edge off of like old outdated systems. That's the thing. Old tarot has I think some of the translations are antiquated in how it puts people in different boxes. But this book, the Animal Wise Tarot, he has the Animal Wise, 2 Animal Wise books. But I love this because you get animal wisdom with it. I'm trying to think of other tarot books because, oh my goodness, it's been so long. It depends. What I would do is pick a deck that feels really good and then get the book that particular artist and person who put the wisdom together, get that book to go with it. That's what I would say. And again, Zerner Farber, that's I think it's called the Mystic Tarot is another name for it. Zerner Farber, it's a husband-wife duo that I mean, I have gone through, no joke, hundreds of those decks when I worked at Mystical Dragon because they would get sticky and I would have to get another one. And they're just, the images are so sweet. Okay. Do you have any books you recommend to start with tarot? Yeah, that would be the thing I would say, that whatever deck you get, buy the accompanying book. So trying to think, did I answer? Oh, where can we sign up? Oh, I live in Carlsbad. Amazing, Teresa. So this is the thing that I would ask, because the way that I'm just making sure I read all the questions. The way that he had it signed up, my husband set it up. I think you're going into one thing, because we're trying to make it less complicated for everybody. Am I doing it live? Am I doing it in person? But if you want to come in person, please immediately let us email us at that. It should just be chato@moongathering.com. Will be the fastest way to get to us, and let him know, because we will have a cap off. And I know, I think we already have 4 or 5 people signed up for the in-person. So we will allow maybe 5 to 10 more. So and I would love to have everybody in person, so that can come. And let's see, anything. I love you're already in Carlsbad. Christy, hi Christy. Oh, Christy, it's Dana. Hi Shannon, it's Dana Hauser. I am with Christy. I love it. Will you be covering astrology and how you combine it in a reading, or is that for another course? Oh, sorry, you already answered this. No problem. Here's the thing. I can't help it, because we know me, I have Astro Tourette. So astrology is always going to be coming out of my mouth. And just, it's going to be a deeper, longer. It will probably, we could probably spend 2 to 3 months really on, like, it's more in depth, the astrology and the tarot going together. But for this, absolutely, we'll see some of the astrology, because I can't tell you some of these cards, like especially major arcana cards and the planets connected to them. Like I already did that, and that's going to help you understand the planet. So I will be, yes, I will be covering some of this stuff. But this is going to help give you that. This course is intended to get you like working on your own translations a little bit with some guidance. We will have some I'm going to give you structure, but I believe in your ability. So perfect. Okay. I think Arcana is just literally a collection, like an empirical grouping of something. That's that would be my guess. We could Google it. But when I think Arcana, that's what I think of, like an empirical collection of something that is organized in a certain structure and way. And so oh my goodness, it's after 6. That's me. Okay, we'll see one more question, and then novice question. When doing readings, how do you determine the cards are reversed, upside down, facing the reader or facing the other person? So for me, Christina, this is such a good question. My first answer is, what do you feel? Like if you feel like it's reversed to them, you can. But my default, because they're looking to me to translate it, I do reversals facing me and right side up facing me. That's how, because I'm the one getting the information. So when I see a reversal, it's telling me something to then convey to the person in front of me. That's it is not novice. That's a fantastic question. And like I said, if somebody just feels very strongly, it's like, no, it's reversed to them. I'm reading from their perspective. That's the beauty of this. You can kind of make up your own rules about certain things, as long as that's what you are set with as you go in. You want to be clear when you go into a reading. So, okay, let's see any more, and then I have to go. Yay, Christy's coming too. I'm so excited. And Dana. Oh, Dana. Hi, Dana. How do you spell Chato? Just exactly how you spelled it. CHATO. That's perfect for the email address. And again, just even if you go into, if you go into our website, you can tell I'm not like, how often do I go to the website? Not often, but there's probably an info at, you can use any one of those emails and just, specify that because we haven't figured out how to do that when you sign up. So, but this should be good. Oh my gosh. If those people, everyone I'm looking at comes, amazing. We're going to have the most amazing class. So I need to end this. Oh, hello at. Okay. Thank you. Not info at. Oh my gosh, I love Noelle. It's like she's an extension of me sometimes. You read my mind and follow through. So hello at Moon Gathering will also, it goes, everything goes to chat though. Even Shannon at Moon Gathering, he's the one who gets those in, you know, because I'm not easy to get a hold of. So he's the one who gets to get that. So okay, well, we will end this now, only because I must continue on. I have plans. I have beautiful Virgos to go celebrate tonight. So I am so happy you came, and I am excited. I hope all of you, you know, have just a little more information about how tarot works and you feel more confident, just even if whether you take the course or not, just that you will feel more confident and less afraid to go in and start working with the energies. So everyone have just the best evening. Oh, Drea's here. Mwah. Okay, thank you and good night.